From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Friday, September the 11th. Right now on Good Morning Indiana. New developments on the city's new use of force review board. Why more civilians will be weighing in on police-involved shooting cases than originally planned. Could that used car you're hoping to buy have once been damaged by flooding?
If you were an unsuspecting car buyer, you would never know that it had been through.
WRTV Investigates takes a look at why these flooded vehicles are now on the market in our state and what you need to look out for. The NFL season is now underway. Our Kelsey Anderson explains the changes you can expect at Lucas Oil Stadium.
I'm actually a Down syndrome. I am who I'm meant to be.
Using her purpose and personality to push back against the pandemic, this Johnson County young lady shows you her efforts to help young kids worried about COVID-19.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday. You're going to want to meet that young lady, but first, of course, we are getting ready for the weekend. The table is set, and meteorologist Todd Clausen, you get to deliver the menu. We hope it's a good serving of sunshine.
Yeah, there will be sunshine in the forecast. It may not be today, but Saturday and Sunday, the heart of the weekend, we should have a lot of sunshine in the forecast, Raphael. So just got to be a little patient here. But today's not a bad day. It's just not a bright day for us. We're not expecting much of anything in the way of rain, but you do notice that visibilities are reduced a little bit, but these clouds not extending all the way to the ground, which would create dense fog like we had yesterday. So that's good news at least. But definitely with the clouds in place this morning, temperatures fairly uniform. Indy's at 66, Lafayette 65, 69 is the current temperature in Bloomington. And so we have the clouds, the rain still off to our west. That's where it's going to stay for much of the day today. There could be a little spot sprinkle in northern locations later on this evening. But other than that, just mostly cloudy skies today because of the clouds. Temperatures hold pretty steady this morning, and then we'll climb into the upper 70s later on this afternoon. But the 80s, they return tomorrow, as well as that sunshine we mentioned. We'll talk about it coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. Now let's take a look at your traffic this morning. Good morning to Lebanon, Tipton, and Greenwood. And let's stay in the Johnson County area as we take a live look now at our in.cam. This is I-65 at County Line Road on the city's south side. As you can see, traffic is picking up. The good news is that all is good this morning on the interstate system. New developments on the city's use of force review board. Its creation is in response to police-involved shootings in the city of Indianapolis. Today, we're learning the board will be led by civilians. That was not the initial plan.
These decisions that these boards make really make a difference between career. So yeah, certain. We all have those same concerns, and that's why we've ensured that this board will have the proper training, will be narrowly scoped to the use of force policy and not broader than that.
And we have more details. The board has yet to be announced. If it is a 9-member board, 5 will be civilians. When it is created, the use of force board will review incidents, cases involving death and bodily injury. A warning this morning if you're looking for that next car. A growing number of flood-damaged vehicles are coming to our state. If you're not careful, you could end up buying one, and that is not a good thing. Flood-damaged vehicles are popping up in states where the car buyers are not suspecting. Indiana now ranks 14th in the nation when it comes to the number of flood-damaged vehicles on the road, with more than 10,000 vehicles. In Indianapolis, the number of flooded vehicles is up 33%, and that's according to a Carfax report released this week. The company says in the wake of Hurricane Laura and other storms, more waterlogged vehicles are headed to Indiana to be sold by dealers and individuals.
These vehicles have issues, mechanical, electrical, safety issues. They're literally rotting from the inside out, and they might look fine to the eye, but what that salt water is doing inside the vehicle can cause a lot of issues down the line.
You can protect yourself by inspecting the vehicle before you buy it. So look for damp carpets, maybe that musty odor and other signs of water damage. You can also do a vehicle history check and have a mechanic look at that vehicle before you purchase it. The time now is 6:06, and now to the very latest on COVID-19 and its impact right here in Indiana. The State Department of Health reports 764 new cases, bringing Indiana's total to more than 102,000 since the pandemic began. 13 new deaths were also confirmed. The death toll now stands at 3,186. Indiana is investing millions of dollars to improve remote learning for grades K through 12. The state gave more than $2.7 million to Indiana University to lead this initiative. The money will support projects supporting teachers by creating course materials and additional training. IU East will also provide free tuition for 62 teachers to complete a graduate certificate in online instruction. It has been available since 2012, but the pandemic has increased interest. Now let's take you to Delaware County. In Muncie, Ball State University has postponed the commencement ceremonies scheduled for October and December until at least May of 2021. In a statement, the school said, due to the ongoing risk of COVID-19, it's simply not feasible to hold large social gatherings. Ball State's president says all 2020 grads will be able to participate in May or any future commencements. The pandemic has been especially hard on restaurants, but dozens right here in central Indiana are still finding ways to help many others in our community. Some are continuing an annual tradition by participating in the Damien Center's annual Dining Out for Light fundraiser on Thursday. The donated money will help them continue to support those living with HIV, managing their medicine, and providing counseling.
To know that the community hasn't forgotten about us, because it is very easy with everything going on with COVID to think like that's the only thing going on. But HIV is still alive and well. I've still got to worry about it. There are people out there who need care.
So typically restaurants donate 50% of their proceeds to the Damien Center for the night. But some restaurants donated a smaller portion this year. Even though Dine Out for Life is over, you can still learn more about this, and you can also donate by going to our website, WRTV.com. Restaurants and hotels are getting some help as well. The National Future Farmers of America organization donated $10,000 for Indianapolis businesses in need. The FFA normally holds its annual convention here in the Circle City, bringing in more than $35 million. But because of COVID-19, this year they decided to go online. The organization says they wanted to let the hospitality industry know that they support them and that they look forward to seeing them again next year. The time now is 6:09. The NFL season is now, it is underway. The Indianapolis Colts' first game is Sunday in Jacksonville. But of course, WRTV's Kelsey Anderson, she can't wait. She's live this morning from the Circle where the kickoff festivities are about to start. She is waving her flag. In fact, she has planted her flag. She is this morning's best Good Morning Indiana fan. Good morning, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So everything down here at the Circle Center is happening for the shoe. The Colts kickoff is starting at 7 o'clock this morning. They're going to be giving away these For the Shoe flags, these American flags, hand sanitizer, and a game day poster, all to the first 1,000 people who come to this drive-through kickoff. And of course, they're going to be doing it safe and socially distant. But the big story right now is what's going to happen next week for the Colts home opener, because there are a lot of changes that fans need to know about. So this one thing that they're going to be doing is only allowing 2,500 fans into Lucas Oil. They will also be doing screenings and temperature checks before going into the stadium, and you'll have to wear a mask, stay socially distant, and sit in your designated pod. Now, I spoke with longtime season ticket holder Mike Bostic, or better known as Cloney Dungy, and he says he's opted to stay home this year for the game, and he's interested to see how the crowd size will impact the game.
I certainly think that it would have an impact, because an excited, energetic crowd of 68,000 people can really, impact a game, and we'll just have to wait and see. It's going to be really interesting to watch. I love our team this year. I think we brought in some new pieces, and I think the defense looks strong. The offensive line looks great.
Bostic says he looks forward to watching the Colts games from his Colts cave and to put his season ticket money towards next year. Now, coming up at 6:30, we'll have more on what these festivities are going to be happening here from 7 to 10 this morning. We'll have a live interview with some people who are helping to put this big event on. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much, and go Colts. COVID-19 has been overwhelming most people, including many kids right here in central Indiana. Coming up, how one young woman in Johnson County is using books to bring comfort to them. First, let's check your forecast this morning with our very own Todd Clausen. It's good to see you in the studio today, Todd. What's up?
Yeah, it's good to have you here, Raphael, and join us as Lauren takes a day off. You know, we haven't had much in the way of rainfall here across central Indiana, at least in Indianapolis. I know you've had more rain to the north, but only 7 of the last 41 days we have produced rainfall at the Indianapolis International Airport. We may add to that going forward in this forecast. We'll detail it coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
COVID-19 has been overwhelming in so many ways for so many people. One Johnson County young lady decided to do something about it. She decided to park herself in a comfortable place with her favorite books. All Mickey Deputy needs is a bench, a beautiful day, and a book.
Hi, my little friends. Are you guys getting ready for bed tonight? This book is called Because I Love You. I love to read to kids because it's actually our future generation.
Mickey decided she would record bedtime stories on her Facebook page after a social media post from a mother concerned that her child was not sleeping over concerns with the pandemic.
Long ago, in a land far away, unlike any of you ever seen, I want everyone to know that they are loved.
At 10 months old, Mickey had open heart surgery. She beat childhood leukemia and is now heading into her 8th season as a Colts junior cheerleader.
I'm actually a Down syndrome. I am who I'm meant to be. We are worthwhile because with special abilities, people can look at them and say, ooh, they can't do much. But in my monologue I do for my pageant, so that I am the daughter of the one true king. The one true king is actually Jesus and God.
The 23-year-old is faithful to her reading project and often shares her faith with Bible-related stories.
When one of them called his name, he dropped whatever he's doing.
Mickey's mom did not know she was doing this until the stories popped up on her feed.
She wanted to do something to help other people, and she has a huge heart for kids.
In this chapter of her life, Mickey still has many tales to tell, one page at a time.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this book today.
She is simply a joyful person. I enjoyed my time with her. Mickey has posted all of her bedtime stories on her Facebook page. She welcomes requests and she'd love to hear your feedback. What an amazing young woman. And Todd Clausen, as you know, she's also a junior Colts cheerleader. She is one of your biggest cheerleaders, but she would want the clouds to get out of here.
Yeah, well, you know, she'll cheer and the clouds will eventually depart as we get into the day tomorrow. But what a special young lady she is. The clouds, they kind of hang tough here throughout the day today, unfortunately. So it's not the brightest day for us, and maybe some of you say it's not the best day because we don't have the sunshine, but there's no rain in the forecast for the day today. It's sunny and warmer for the weekend, and as we get into the weekend, there are some small rain chances. I'll detail those for you coming up in just a second. 63 in Kokomo, 66 in Indianapolis, Bloomington at 69 degrees. With the clouds in place this morning, temperatures really are not going to do a whole lot. It's not until the clouds start to thin a little bit this afternoon that we get some warmth in here. So this morning, we're basically going to stay in the 60s, and then eventually we'll climb up into the mid 70s later on this afternoon for your high temperature. You see the clouds in place this morning, and then off to our west, just a broken line of showers. And this has been the storm track throughout the entire week. The rain comes from south to north through Kansas City, then it kind of makes a turn towards Chicago and into Michigan. And we have avoided most of the rain with the exception of Labor Day up in northern locations when we fired up those storms, and you saw quite a bit of rainfall, but that was kind of the exception than the rule over the course of the week. Now, the model's not really picking up on the cloud cover that's out there, and that happens a lot when these clouds clouds are very close to the surface. So when you look at TrueCast, and the reason why I have this on the screen for you is I want to just point out that even though it's going to be pretty cloudy throughout the day today, you didn't see any rain moving into the area. So if you have evening plans, you're just fine. Partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the 70s as we look into the weekend. The thing that jumps out at you to the most is probably the temperature, back up into the mid-80s tomorrow with mostly sunny skies. And then we just build in the chance of a spot storm or two late in the day. The bulk of Saturday is dry. Sunday, partly cloudy skies. The humidity starts to drop on Sunday, so it turns into a really nice tail end of the weekend. This is TrueCast now for Saturday. We've jumped ahead. Most of the day is dry with the sunshine in the morning hours. A little on the muggy side. It's warm. You'll notice the clouds increase a little bit throughout the afternoon. As far as the rain goes, it's probably not until after 5 o'clock that some of these scattered storms start to make their way into the area. And it's not going to be a widespread rain. And then the rain will continue into the overnight hours early Sunday morning. So I think the wettest period potentially over the entire weekend is going to be when you're sleeping Saturday into Sunday. So it times out absolutely perfect. Once we get past that rain chance early Sunday morning, look at that stretch of weather. The humidity will be non-existent Monday and Tuesday. The sun will be shining. Morning lows in the 50s, Raphael, with highs in the upper 70s.
It is looking good. Now let's head outside and take a good look at your traffic outlook this morning. This is a live look this morning from our in-dot camera. I-65 and St. Clair here in the downtown area. As you can see, of course, the traffic is on cruise control. All is well on this Friday. In the news this morning, there's another urgent push to get you to fill out your census. That deadline to take part in the census is at the end of this month. Historically, the Black and the Latinx communities have been undercounted in the census. The group Count Me Indy is working to reach those specific communities. The census is important because it influences how and where tax dollars will be spent on things like healthcare, education, and transportation programs. Count Me Indy says sharing your information, they say, is safe and confidential.
Everyone counts regardless of citizenship status. This information can't be used with law enforcement. It can't be shared with the IRS. Even the President of the United States does not have access to census data for 72 years.
So as she said, the federal law, Title 13, protects census data. The limit is 72 years because that's considered a lifetime. Now, you can take part in the census by mail, by phone, or online. The number to call is 844-330-2020. Now, if you prefer to respond in Spanish, you can call 844-468-2020, and the website is 2020census.gov. The coronavirus, as you know, has reshaped countless things, and today's ceremonies commemorating 9/11 will look oh so different. Today marks 19 years since the terrorist attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people. There will be two ceremonies in New York City, one at the 9/11 Memorial Plaza and the other near the World Trade Center. There will not be any in-person readings of victims' names, which has become a tradition. President Trump and rival candidate Joe Biden both plan to go to the Flight 93 National Memorial in Pennsylvania. The president will deliver a speech in the morning, and Mr. Biden will speak later on. As airlines prepare for the holiday season, some are opening their middle seats back up to passengers. Coming up, we're looking at which ones may pack your plane and which ones are continuing those COVID precautions. Coming up on Good Morning America, the president and the CEO of Walmart U.S. talks about when we'll see much sought-after items like Clorox wipes back on the shelves and the economic impact of COVID-19. That's coming up right here on GMA on WRTV. And a live look outside right now. A big good morning to Logansport, Lawrence, and Lebanon. All great places to call home. The time now is 6:22, and we thank you for starting your Friday right here on WRTV with Good Morning Indiana. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time to check out what's trending at 6. A new gadget coming out this winter is made specifically for COVID times. LG Electronics has invented a battery-powered filtered face mask that features 2 fans and a HEPA filter that cleans the air coming in and out. It comes with a case that charges the battery and disinfects the mask with UV light. I want one of those. There's no list price yet, Todd Clausen, but it would be a great Christmas gift. They will only be available in select markets. We'll see if Indy is one of those. And an Alabama woman training for her first marathon ends up saving a man's life. You see, Shannon Salter and another woman on a trail saw a man lying on the ground and realized that he was just not responsive. So Salter, she just took off running towards 3 defibrillators installed along the trail. The AED told her shocks were not needed, but compressions were, which is what she did until those paramedics arrived. It is great to have AEDs, and thankfully for those Good Samaritans, we appreciate what they do. And we appreciate this young lady. Congratulations to Karen James Brown. She is our hometown hero on this Friday. Karen, thank you so much. She is a healthcare worker. We thank her and all of those right now on the front line. Time to check your local forecast on this Friday with our very own Todd Clausen. TK, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's Friday. Raphael, we're looking ahead to the weekend, and this morning we're starting off with a little bit of patchy fog here in northern locations. Nothing like we saw yesterday when the fog was super dense, and I always tell you that 1 mile visibility threshold is the difference between dangerous driving and also where you'll have to just reduce your speed a little bit. So you see the areas in gray there to the north up towards Muncie over into the Lafayette area in Florida. That's where you have to use a little bit of caution. Southern locations, visibility not an issue. So as you head off to work here, just give yourself a little bit of extra time. Otherwise, cloudy skies, 64 degrees heading home, still mostly cloudy with a few peaks of sunshine as we work our way into the afternoon hours, and high temperatures today that'll be topping off in the mid to upper 70s.
Todd, thank you. Delta Airlines just made a major announcement to try to ease the fears of travelers during this pandemic. It will not fill those middle seats on its planes this fall. Consumer reporter John Matteries tells us which airlines are giving flyers more space so you don't waste your money.
Thinking of flying again this fall or maybe over the holidays? Well, during this pandemic, you may want to know which airlines are leaving the middle seats empty and which may pack your plane. Alicia Lopez just flew 2 flights, one of which was too full for comfort.
Till the second flight was crowded, it was sort of uncomfortable, but I mean, we got through it.
Photos of packed planes like this are what worried Christine Wolf when she booked her flight.
I had concerns at first because of COVID, but I needed to get away.
So how can you boost your chances of ending up on a comfortably empty flight as opposed to an uncomfortably full aircraft? Well, it comes down to doing your homework at the time you book your flight.
Right now, there are 4 airlines that are not selling seats to capacity.
Ben Mutzabaugh writes for the travel site thepointsguy.com.
Delta says their flight caps will go through at least early January. The others right now are into the fall.
Ben lists the 4 airlines guaranteeing empty seats right now: Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, and Alaska. But only Delta promises empty middle seats through the holidays. Some airlines, though, will allow you to switch flights if the plane is too full for you.
American and United are telling you that if your flight is 70% full, they'll notify you. You can take another flight.
Carrie Ellis and Virginia Miller are glad they booked Delta with no one in the middle.
There's only one on the aisle and one on the window, so that gives you distance between the person next to you.
One last tip from the Points Guy: open the air vent and point it directly at you. That air is fresh and filtered, so don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. An Indiana Court of Appeals has from conservative religious groups challenging the limits on the state's religious objections law. A state appeals court ruling upheld a county judge's decision that the 3 groups failed to prove they had faced any harm. Former Governor Pence signed that bill in 2015 amid a national uproar that could have been used to discriminate against gays and lesbians. An attorney for the religious group says they would consider an appeal to the state Supreme Court. This morning, 7 people, including a 3-year-old girl, are recovering after an explosion leveled a home in northwest Indiana. This happened at a home in Porter. Fire crews found people trapped inside that home and a large fire at the rear of the building when they arrived. This morning, the cause of the explosion that remains under investigation. Ball State University has postponed the commencement ceremonies scheduled for October and December until at least May of 2021. In a statement, the school says due to the ongoing risk of COVID-19, it is simply not feasible to hold large social gatherings. Ball State's president says that 2020 grads will be able to participate in the May or any future commencements. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this September the 11th. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Our good friend Lauren Casey is on vacation. Todd Clausen, I am so happy to be out of my living room. I needed a GPS this morning to figure out how to get back to work and here to Studio A, but it's great to be here with you as we look forward to a great weekend.
Did you remember how long the commute was time-wise?
I was
were you
like,
here early?
Where is Indianapolis? How do I get there?
Well, I've seen Lauren the past few days, so it's good to see you back up here, Rafael, as well. As you walk out the door this morning, there's a little bit of reduced visibility out there, but we're not dealing with the dense fog. Temperatures with the cloud cover that's in place, fairly uniform. 63 in Peru, 66 in Indianapolis, Muncie, currently at 64 degrees. So we have a little bit of cloud cover in spots. What we don't have is any rainfall out there. But as you expand off to the west, you do notice there are some showers from Chicago down towards Kansas City. And those will start to sneak in here late in the day tomorrow. So while today doesn't feature a ton of sunshine, it's a dry day for us. 64 degrees at 8 a.m., 71 by the noon hour. The best opportunity for some sunshine will be this afternoon and in southern locations as your high temperature gets up to 78 degrees. Tomorrow the sunshine does return. It's a nice weekend forecast. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Rafael.
Let's take a live look outside right now at your in.cam. Take a look at our morning commute. This is a live look at I-465 at Meridian Street on the city's north side. All is going well this morning. And let me just also point out that this is why we miss Lauren Casey every day of the week, because she is the traffic diva and she could talk about roads all day long. So Lauren, we miss you and we look forward to your return back on your traffic detail on Monday morning. The countdown to kickoff is officially underway, and our Indianapolis Colts will play the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. But when the blue and white return home, you'll see a lot of changes right here at Lucas Oil Stadium. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is live this morning to explain. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Rafael. So we are down on the circle right now where it's already starting to bleed blue, but in about a half an hour at 7 o'clock when this countdown to kickoff starts, things are going to be exciting. And I'm here with Stephanie. So Stephanie, tell us a little bit about what's going on down here. What do you guys have going on this morning?
Yeah, so this morning we are doing a kickoff drive-through event. So obviously we can't do a lot of our normal kickoff events, and so instead we decided to do a drive-through so that fans can still be a part of the excitement around kickoff. So starting at 7 o'clock, fans are going to be able to drive their vehicles through. We'll have contactless delivery of these goodie bags that we've got, so they'll have our flags in them and some other goodies, and we'll just pop those in the trunk and fans can kind of take off. They can see blue when they swing by. So again, really prioritizing safety, making sure that this is a safe alternative to some of our traditional events. All of our staff here today have gone through a COVID screening. We've got face masks, hand sanitizer, gloves, all of that, just to make sure that we're providing the safest experience possible for our fans.
Awesome. And all morning we've been talking about the safety that's going to happen next week when the Colts play at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. So tell us a little bit about how that decision-making process has gone, what your guys' process is as of right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been working extremely closely with both local, national health officials on, what the protocols are, making sure that we're aligned with all the CDC guidelines, the NFL's best practices. And so we're going to have, game days are going to look a little different. We do have some protocols like mandatory face mask, social distancing. We've got a lot of directional signage and things that we'll have fans follow. So the stadium will look a little bit different, but we are confident that we can still provide a very great experience for our fans. So we've been approved to have 2,500 fans for our first game next weekend, so for our home opener. And then we're going to kind of take it game by game. Obviously, as you can imagine, very fluid situation, but really excited to at least host those 2,500 fans and do so in a very safe way.
Yeah, awesome. Well, obviously a very fluid situation as far as game day goes, but this morning they are going to be out here from 7 to 10 a.m. and you can swing by and get your goodie bag. Just drive by, they'll hand it to you, you can wave it blue, take a picture, things like that. But they will be out here this morning from 7 to 10 a.m. bleeding blue. For now, listen back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thanks so much, and good morning to Colts Nation. And thanks for the memories. That's the Colts message to future Hall of Famer Adam Vinatieri. The banner you see there is now hanging on the south side of Lucas Oil Stadium. The kicker's time with the Colts quietly came to an end in the offseason after a very rocky 2019. He finished the season on injured reserve after knee surgery in December. The Colts did not re-sign him, ending a 14-year stay in Indianapolis. But there were plenty of good times. Of course, a Super Bowl 41 win, thank you so much, Adam, and countless memorable winning kicks. Vinatieri is the NFL's career leading scorer and has 4 Super Bowl rings. Indiana lawmakers are preparing to partially move some of their 2021 legislative session activity out of the State House over concerns with coronavirus. A joint House-Senate committee endorsed a plan this week to allow the 100-member House to hold its floor sessions and committee meetings in the auditorium and the conference rooms in a state office building next to the State House. Now, the 50-member state Senate is planning to keep meeting in the State House chamber, but it will convert its public gallery into seating for senators in order to allow for sufficient distancing when the legislative session starts in January. Here's a question. Why are homicides spiking in Indianapolis? It's a question that WRTV took to police as well as to many crime experts.
Crime is continually falling in the country. And it's going to fall in 2020, but murder is up, and that's a very specific problem.
Jeff Asher, the co-founder of a crime data consulting organization, he tells WRTV there's no clear answer, which unfortunately means there's no clear solution. So far this year, the city is at 130 criminal homicides. If the current pace continues, there will be around 195 by the end of this year. 16-year-old Naya Cope was one of the victims killed in Indianapolis this year. Her mother says they were driving through the city when a stray bullet hit her daughter.
Oh my gosh, my shooting. And before I knew it, Naya, a bullet had went, through my car and hit Naya. I'm not the only person that suffers this, A lot of people are suffering.
That shooting happened back in May here in Indianapolis. There have been no arrests in that case. For an in-depth investigative look at the recent surge in violence in Indianapolis and how it compares to years past, as well as what are police doing to combat this, plus overall crime trends and much more, look for this story right now on the WRTV app. This morning, millions of dollars out of the hands of crooks. Coming up, the illegal ways government officials say the Paycheck Protection Program was being used. Detail on that and much more coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time now is 6:40. Turning now to the latest coronavirus pandemic and its continuing impact right here in our state. On Thursday, state health officials confirming 764 new coronavirus cases. That means more than 102,000 Hoosiers have tested positive since the pandemic began. In the last 7 days, 5% of those tested have tested positive for the virus. State health officials also confirmed 13 new coronavirus deaths since the pandemic began. Nearly 3,200 Hoosiers have died with the virus. Plenty of scams have been popping up amid the pandemic, and now that the Department of Justice says 57 people have been arrested for fraud related to the Paycheck Protection Program. The DOJ says the money meant to help struggling small businesses was instead spent on personal luxury items by the fraudsters. A total of $30 million has been seized or frozen. Officials say some of the arrested suspects were also part of organized crime rings. The process of applying for college financial aid is going to look a lot different for some families this fall. You guess why? The pandemic. The financial aid form known as FAFSA and the CSS profile used for non-federal aid both become available on October the 1st for the 2021-22 academic year. But the financial aid forms are based on income from 2019. So appeals and professional judgments are something that you may need to consider.
This year, with so many people out of work, with so many people filing unemployment benefits on an ongoing basis, financial aid offices have been gearing up for large numbers of increases in these requests.
So an appeal is when you say, I don't qualify for as much aid as I hoped. Do you have any extra resources you can provide me? A professional judgment is asking the financial aid office to add elements on your aid application to more accurately reflect your financial circumstances. Your income is one thing that judgment can be based on.
The other thing you might be looking at are increased expenses. So you'd be asking a school to increase your cost of attendance budget, which might qualify you or your family for additional financial aid because you have unexpected medical expenses or unexpected childcare expenses.
So keep this in mind. The procedures vary for requesting a professional judgment, so you need to check with your individual school. Prepare to have that documentation of your financial changes. Financial aid offices are also expecting to see longer wait times because of increased requests. Now, you don't have to apply right now on October the 1st, but sooner, they say, is always better. This morning, historic wildfires continue to burn in California and Oregon. Up next, the latest on the growing fires and the growing number of people being forced from their homes. But first, let's check on your forecast on this Friday morning with Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning to you. It's Friday, as you mentioned. We're looking ahead to the weekend, so obviously you want to know about rain chances. Well, today there's no rain chances. Tomorrow, some do enter the forecast. Slight to moderate chances, but I think it times out really well for you in the sense that it's late in the day on Saturday. We'll detail it using TrueCast for you hour by hour coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. This morning, TikTok admits preventing users from using some hashtags that contain LGBTQ-related topics. The social media company says the shadow ban was necessary due to laws in Russia and some Middle Eastern countries. TikTok also said some banned hashtags were done to prevent the use and sharing of pornography. The company says some hashtags were removed by mistake, and the company fixed that problem. Thousands of acres from California to Oregon, they continue to be burned by these historic wildfires you see right there. ABC's Kenneth Moten reports that overnight, those fires took a tragic turn.
Overnight, a devastating discovery in California.
An additional 7 deceased individuals were located by our deputies.
The so-called North Complex fire north of Sacramento has now killed at least 10 people. More than a dozen others were still missing overnight. This woman fears her parents are among the dead after their house was burned to the ground in Oroville.
Waiting for the remains to be identified that they found in the same location, and I pray to God that it's not my parents.
The pair missing for 2 days.
Oh my gosh, this is so heart-wrenching.
Thousands in the area have already been forced to flee. More than 20,000 homes and businesses are in danger.
It's burned more than 95,000 acres in just the past 24 hours.
But the North Complex is just one of dozens of fires burning in the state.
Fire crews are stretched thin. Some have been working nonstop for nearly a month.
Meanwhile, in Washington state, residents left stunned by the aftermath of a massive fire that destroyed the town of Malden.
I've seen tornadoes, I've seen earthquakes, I've seen waves wash out land, floods. I've never seen anything like this.
And in Oregon, nearly 50 wildfires are burning throughout the state, killing at least 3 people. ABC's Matt Gutman is in Phoenix, Oregon.
Officials say that they have not been able to assess the damage or the death toll because they are simply stretched too thin. And looking out over this, you can tell why the task for investigators of digging through this debris would be so daunting. Street after street, block after block, entire developments incinerated as far as the eye can see.
Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
Here in central Indiana, once again, we're dealing with overcast skies. Here's the view or lack thereof from the WRTV Weather Now camera on top of the Salesforce Tower. This is looking off towards the north, and of course, Salesforce Tower several hundred feet above the ground. And so the visibilities aren't a huge issue. Yeah, you couldn't see much from the camera, but those clouds don't extend all the way to the ground, resulting in dense fog like we had yesterday. So that is good news. Visibility just reduced in some spots here across the area, but I don't think it's a huge issue for you on the roadways, at least. Obviously, if you encounter some reduced visibility, slow down a little bit and use those low beams this morning for your commute into work if you have to do so. 69 right now in Bloomington, 62 is the current temperature in Tipton, Greenfield at 63 degrees, 62 over in the Richmond area. With the clouds in place, everybody's within just a couple degrees of each other temperature-wise across the area. And if you've been with us throughout much of the week, I've been highlighting the really, really cold air that's been off to our west. You can see the temperatures are starting to moderate. So we never tapped into that really chilly air. Instead, we were staying above normal. And with that real cold air retreating into Canada, our temperatures are going to be running at or just a little bit above normal for the next couple days. Now, the one thing that will change going forward in this forecast with the passage of a cold front on Saturday is the humidity. Even though it's not the warmest day today and we're not going to have as much in the way of sunshine, it's still going to be a little bit muggy, still muggy tomorrow. But once that front goes through on Saturday, you notice that line, it drops. That's an indication that the humidity is going to come way down for Monday and Tuesday. And those are by far the best 2 days that I have in this 7-day planning forecast. Even though it's not the brightest day today, pretty seasonable with your high temperature in the upper 70s. And the rain has been really riding right along that temperature contrast between the warm air we've been experiencing and the real cold air that's been off to the west where they had the snow in parts of Denver and into Wyoming. And eventually this is going to start to change as some of these showers are going to approach the area during the day tomorrow. Today, though, we remain dry in this forecast. TrueCast shows cloud cover will still be present, but the rain stays off to our west. Again, that is for today. So this evening, it's Friday night. You may have plans. You're just fine. Mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 70s. Tomorrow's warmer, back into the mid-80s with some humidity. Most of Saturday is dry. There are some storms late in the day. Those storms are out of here Sunday. And Sunday's that day you'll notice the humidity start to drop across the area. Let's fast forward on TrueCast here at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Increasing clouds after a sunny start to your Saturday, but the bulk of this rainfall is going to be during the overnight hours. Yes, there'll be probably some spotty showers around tomorrow evening, but the more widespread shower activity is with us overnight into Sunday morning. It's done by the time you wake up Sunday morning, though. Even though some clouds may linger Sunday morning, they'll decrease pretty quickly. And then there's Monday and Tuesday, just absolutely terrific with sunshine. Lows in the 50s, highs in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. Raphael.
Todd, thank you so much. Bring on the weekend. And now a live look at I-70 at Sherman Drive. As you can see, all is looking fantastic. A big good morning to Greencastle, Tipton, and Greenfield as well. The patchy fog that Todd talked about having no impact on traffic. And as always, slow down around those school zones. The annual event you see behind me will look much, much different this year, but the tradition will be carrying on with more safety and social distancing. The Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site in Indianapolis is getting ready for the wicked world of croquet. It's happening this Saturday. I think we should have a team next year, Todd. The idea is players will spread out over the nearly 3 acres of land with individual mallets and balls and maintain at least 6 feet apart. There will also be sanitizing stations and other hygiene items. Organizers say that croquet is a game you don't even have to be experienced at to play, and it's easy to social distance. So I think the Good Morning Indiana team next year, Todd Clausen will be the captain with Lauren Casey co-captain, or vice versa. We're ready to play croquet. Good News Friday is coming up next. We'll introduce you to an Indianapolis teenager going the extra mile to remember the victims of the September 11th terrorist attacks. What he and his friends did coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana. This morning on Good News Friday, thousands of kittens in Nevada are getting a little help thanks to the police. More than 600 of those felines at the Animal Foundation's kitten nursery have been placed into foster care, and their formula is not cheap. But Nevada Highway Patrolmen, they're donating to this cause. This week, they handed over several $100s worth of kitten formula.
They're amazing. They're so little. They need homes.
You're going to come back when they're old enough?
Probably. They can't keep me out of here, I don't think.
The Animal Foundation says their intake numbers have been declining since a mandatory spay-neuter ordinance went into effect 10 years ago. So there's quite a display of stars and stripes outside an Indianapolis school. I hope you'll get a chance to drive by if you get a chance today. You see, student leader Peter Gray led the way on this effort. He and 9 other classmates and several parents decided to do this outside of Park Tudor. Check it out. As you can see, they placed nearly 3,000 U.S. flags in front of the school. This hometown memorial honors the victims of 9/11 on this solemn day. We thank them for that sign of just patriotism and also just being a part of the community. What an awesome job. drive by, check it out. Todd, the weather will be perfect for that visit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't do it today. You got the weekend to do it as well. Or maybe there's a trail right there along College. Just go for a bike ride and enjoy the nice weather and check it out as well as you get up there towards Merritt Park. All right. Temperatures here today about 78 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. As you work your way into the weekend, it's warmer. The rain on Saturday is some spotty showers probably after 5 p.m. The better chance of rain overnight Saturday into Sunday. But by Sunday morning, most of that is gone. Sets us up for a beautiful Sunday afternoon and even better Monday and Tuesday with lots of sunshine.
Todd Clausen, you have a great weekend. He's our ultimate trail guide. We're back in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday morning right here on WRTV.